Hello, wild wisdom warriors. Hello, YouTube. Hello, everyone. Hello, my shamans. Everyone, this is Lily. Welcome to my journal. Today is January 3rd. So, it's my dad's birthday, actually. He was born on this day. Well, it's not real, but he was celebrating on this day. So this is going to be a little bit interesting one for me. So I'm going to talk about developing shamanic tools and your shamanic gifts and how to go about it. So I brought my two friends over here for you guys. Hi, everybody. So here we go. Here we go. Happy New Year, everyone. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to everyone. So we're going to be developing our gifts in this year because we have a lot of energies that support that. So we're going to be playing with our powers as shamans this year. Aloha, Jeff. Hi, Amy. A lot of black balls. Imagine that. We're going to talk about some black balls, you guys. But anyway, so I'm going to, for now, put them here, okay? So, and talk a little bit about my background, you guys. So you see all this beauty over here. This is my fabric, okay? So I decided to just show you like what I'm working right now is this is part of my shamanic toolbox. There's bowls, right? So what I'm going to be working on, and I got this fabric. It was a gift, this fabric, okay, with the dragon and phoenix and the purple. This is my favorite purple. So what I'm going to be working on is a box, a travel box for my shamanic tools. And this is one of my shamanic tools are three of those stones that three of these black balls that I like to carry around. And so, as I've said before in the past, that in the spring, you guys, I'm going to be going on the road with my studio. The wellness studio is going on the road. So it's going to be interesting. So I'm going to be going to be doing all these creative things because in the meantime, as I'm preparing for my future work, and here's first, before I go into that, here's happy Friday and happy New Year to every one of you, my shamans. Mwah! I love you all so much. May the eternal flame light up your path that you're going through because it's your path, and follow that eternal flame within in 2020, and may it burn wide and high and bright as you can imagine. So here's to you, all my shamans. And yes, this is vino. It's just juice fruit, a fruit. It's a juice. It's juice. It's old juice. That's all. Hi, you guys. The energy, Amy, you say the energy feels different for 2020. Yes, it is. Oh, it's so kind of, but I'm gonna attempt to talk about it, Amy. It is what it is, my journal. So I wouldn't be Lily if I didn't let few cats out of the bag. So I'm gonna let few cats out of the bag today, you guys. I'm even wearing a necklace for this occasion. It's a very special necklace. I don't know if you can see, you guys, but it's like the eternity tree of life there and stuff. Gypsy stuff. Anyway, so here's to all of you, my friends. Thank you for joining me. So I'll be talking about and why it is that I'm going to be spending all this time being creative, creating this travel toolbox for to keep this ball so they don't run around. And so I got to create all these things to where all of the stuff that's my sort of everything. And that the reason why I say is the reason it's unique and each shaman is in self-initiation is because when you work with your own tools, you develop that relationship with yourself in a way. But it's like when they program you through subconscious, and then let's say, I don't know if you ever done like self hypnosis classes and stuff like that, and how they teach you how to train your mind. And let's say if you scratch, and they say, okay, and you program your mind. So here, let me drink a little toast to Happy New Year to all my beautiful, wonderful shamans. Big hugs and kisses to you guys. So what happens is, because everything is energy, so like the stones, okay, it's energy, right? And so I then develop my gifts using this, because what this does originally for me, it grounds me. And how I've used this before, I'm going to share it with you guys, because by sharing my own experience, that's the only way um I can consciously so that's the only sort of way I can express. So when I want to practice with something and develop my, let's say, I want to focus on developing my gut feeling. Okay. So what I can do is, what I do sometimes is I can put this on my top of my belly button. Okay. And then I can go meditate there. Right. And then I can sit there and focus, because you developing your gift. You focus your mind on how in conscious mind does my gut feel. And you go, yes. And you feel through your gut feeling. Like you feel what you feel in there. Then you remember that feeling. Okay. So then you tell your mind, no, like something's wrong. Something's not what how does my gut feeling, what it gives me the feelings, when something is in alignment with me or not in alignment with me. So you start with that, and that's developing your own gift. So then this is through working through that and doing this, practicing, right? Like Bruce Lee have taught us, without practice, you can't attain, because body, mind, body, and soul, it's all, the soul can only unfold through this trinary field. And so a body is included. You can't separate the body. That's only those that wanted to steal your body that will tell you that. Hi, Noraft. Oh my God, you're here again. Thank you for joining again. Natasha, you here. Thank you so much. Amy, thank you. Thank you. Jeff, thank you for being here, you guys. So basically, when you work with that, this stone then becomes extension of you, because it does. But in a way, what it represents for me is this immediately grounds me to the center of the earth, and it immediately expels everything from my aura that is not of my creation. Okay, because this is what I was talking about. And I do like to use Bible, because a lot of people do use Bible references and all of that. So like in Bible, it says, when you recognize that you're in this world, but you're not of it, and that is that recognition that you are the creator being, so you're generating your reality. And so then you don't go, oh, When you truly, that's the awakening. That's the awakening, you guys, is this this recognition of who you are. And this is what we've been talking about. That recognition of who you are is what gives you then this awakening process. It starts to take place, and then it's unfolding. And this is what I call, in this then becomes, because your soul is authentic, it's one of a kind. So this then becomes your authentic unfoldment of your soul, one of a kind, in the body, because the body that you're in is the vehicle in this reality that you are in, but you are not part of it. So your body, and I've referred to this in the past, you guys, as your body consciousness is invaded, meaning in this reality it's invaded. And so the reason, and this is your matrix, right? And this is the reason why we as shamans and all the shamans around the world use the tools that they see fit their own world, their own real reality, or how they operate, or how they deal with the invasion of consciousness in this reality. Because when you also come to that point in your growth or in your soul unfoldment, to where you do recognize who you are, as I like to say, and then you know that you're not here because you're trapped. Because like I said, you can't enslave a soul that attain its own liberation, because then you know that there is a liberation process that you just gone through yourself, right? And then you attain that knowing within, that that's ultimately what you came here to do. And so then you don't hide in fear, you become fearless, and you start defend your reality, because you know who you are. You are in this reality, but you're not of it. And so then you also have the knowing within, and this is the unfoldment of the soul. You also have the knowing within, and then you have to trust yourself. And this is why you develop these tools that are extension of yourself, that help you to align your conscious mind, the part of you that is is reconstructing the invasion, that needs these tools. And so you're basically developing these tools for that, just like any individual that, let's say, herbalist, right? They know a combination of different things for different sicknesses, right? So you can't come to herbalists and say, "Oh, just give me herbs, and that should do it." Um, it's not. It's not. It doesn't work that way, because you develop a relationship. There's a relationship that I have with this balls, because it represents. So, and this is how our subconscious mind gets programmed, right? Through the symbols, what it represents. A symbol, this is just a ball, this is a stone that comes from nature. Nothing to it. Nothing to it. Right? So, but for me, it's a whole different thing, because that's in my reality. For my conscious mind, that's what I've developed. That's what I needed. So that's why I say that each shaman individually develops their own unique gift, and there's a process of initiating that you initiate yourself. And you can start with a little piece of rock that you find, or a little feather that you find, or whatever speaks to you. You can go to the side of the river and you walk there until your gut feeling says, points you to your shamanic tool, or whatever it is, that you can start with to initiate yourself into this, because you initiate in your own soul unfoldment. Okay. And this is why I say it's so important for each shaman to develop everything. This is why I, you know, I take my energy then, let's say, and I'm going to be making this box, covering the wooden box, and making all this place, and making pouches and things like that for things that I need, right? I'm going to be making it all with my own hands. Okay? Because then, so there is a sacredness about your tools that's to you, to somebody, and of course, as you can see, you probably will guys figure out why there is a certain symbology behind it that, that I want to have, because that's mine. That's my favorite purple color. So I want to have my toolbox to be on my favorite color. So see how it's like you develop everything from the little thing to then big thing. And then this is how you go from from developing a ritual, and this is how you practice to develop rituals for others once you self-develop your own abilities and all of that stuff. So here's what I'm going to tell you, how it's like. Think of it this way. It's like in physical body, Bruce Lee, right? He developed a whole new fighting structure. It was his own development. But what did he do before that? He went and studied all of those things, all of those different forms of fighting. He went and studied with different masters and all of that stuff. So, but not to, many people went to those master schools, right? Many people learn and develop the abilities and master the abilities of this or that fight style, right? What did he do? He took all of it and he took the best out of all of it that fit for him, and then developed his own. Okay? And that's ultimately, this is why I said that's ultimately kind of a great example for us, you guys. Why we have to self-develop all of this abilities. We have to develop these abilities within us. And so, but look at it in this way. When you start developing and you start doing something, right? And it becomes then nature, because you gotta think of it, it's not as though you don't have it, because you do. When you start on that path within, it's not because you want to hit that end. It is because you want to get into eternity. You want to get through that past, through that, and this is what that infinity, there's that spot right there of eternity, right? And so you want to pass through that eternity point. You want to operate through that eternity point. So that's what we're talking about. And so Then when hi Amy, yeah, my dad loved bees because they were his shamanic tool, and that's what the nature offer to him, that, and that was his thing. um so I say that thing would happen to him, and what the shamans did to help my dad to align him to the shamanic healing that he needed, and took years for him to heal, but the healing was so extraordinary. It was a miracle, basically. But within me, as a young girl, that was just still, so aware, to witness that, Amy, to witness this is where my confidence comes from, in nature. And this is why I am a shaman. Because I've witnessed all of that. I witnessed my dad before his healing, and what has been done to him, and I know what has been done to him. And then witnessing the healing that nature offered, the miracle of nature. And bees were the ones that delivered that miracle to him. None of the religious people could ever do anything about it, no matter how much they could claim that they know better than nature. Nature knows better. And so it took him a while. And when he did God, when nature offered them the bees, when he found the family on the way back from work, the queen just was sitting on the branch. When he found that, it took him like 3 years to take care of those bees so they can figure out how to heal him. And when the time was right, when it was his time, and he put in and did develop the relationship with the bees, to the point to where he stopped wearing all the protective things and everything. Because at first he wore all that stuff and everything, but until he created a relationship that was so in harmony that the bees had to rearrange his mind because it was so broken. And this is what I talk about, that what socialism, um, oppression, what communist oppression, the kind of damage it had done in Russia. It's the damage that nobody, right? It's the whole society's been damaged. It's the mind control programs that had, and some, it's the damage that people can't even recognize. Because then the cycle of that kept going with the army. Every man had to go into the army, and believe me, every one of them that went came back broken. I witnessed my 4 brothers went into the army, 18 years old, full of dreams, developing music, creating writing songs, creating music. Come back vegetables, mental vegetables. No interest in music, only interest in abusing everything around. Because it was so much abuse that everything that's coming out is like flipped inside out. Instead of love for music, they hated it. It was wrong to create. Every one of them, all 4 of my brothers, came back a totally different people. So that cycle of abuse continues and continues and continues there. But what happened with my dad, and he was, it's his birthday, and then he on in 1916, and he died in 2018, 102 years old. That's power of nature. And he didn't have any sicknesses, no high blood pressure, no nothing. His heart he went to sleep and died. And that was all bees. And that was all bees. And so, but he developed that. And then after that, of course, you know how he tried to help my brothers? He told my younger brother that got the most of it. He completely came back. It's like he's long gone. It's something, who knows what. His abuse was so bad in the army that he barely withstood. So you know what he did? He tried to set him up with the bees. And that's how he tried to help. And so this is how she, he he tried to help them. And of course, there was one thing. It was interesting that he lived to 100, because all of his life when I was young, and all of that stuff, and all of his experiences and what he was doing, and things like that, I wanted to know all the secrets, because I wanted to know why all this stuff happening, why this, why that, and looking for all the connections. And he used to always, and when we moved to America, I started saying, okay, tell me all the secrets, tell me all the secrets, tell me this, tell me about this. And he would say, I won't tell you unless I live to be 100. I said, okay. And then when he turned 100, what do you think I did? You told me. So it was an interesting, another year or so, a little bit more with him. So, and most of the things that, and I'm going to, I guess, say this here, most of the things that the big secrets that made a huge sort of a big picture come together for me, with the whole, which you talk about, Natasha, the Bolsheviks and how they operate and all of that stuff, all of the big stuff. Because no matter what, even the bees did what they did and healed him, that they erased so much from his memory. But what something happened after 100 years he was here. It just like everything restarted or something, and he started remembering all of that, because of, like, all of the things that happened um during that time when he was there in Siberia. And so that was an interesting time, because there was so many things that he said that if he would have told me before, first of all, I wouldn't been able to put it together. Second of all, is because it fit the pieces that I needed to fit for a much, much bigger picture, on a much bigger scale, about that whole thing about the Bolsheviks and the whole Russia thing and the invasion and the imposters. So yeah, it's pretty interesting. And so that's sort of what's been so shocking to me in a way. In a way, even I was pretty shocked, in after he turned 100, and all the things that he revealed to me. So here's to my dad. Happy birthday, Dad. Love you. So that's how we can sort of, and so speaking of that, right, of my father, right, And so now we're talking about your bloodlines and all on your ancestral uh, ancestors, and that's your own DNA. So your genetic line is that that's what runs this body. So that's why you need to harmonize with, but no matter what, you've got that. That's your DNA, your ancestral, like a line. That's here because it represents your past, our past, and so we represent our future. Like, our children will carry our DNA into the future, right? So it's as simple as that, in a way. So when we do what we do here on this bigger scale, and then this is, in a way, then gives the chance for the new generations to um, start on the foundation of the freedom of the soul expression, of each individual soul expression. This is what comes to the spirituality, and this is what even Jesus talked about, the freedom of that expression. And this is why he went into all this churches or whatever, synagogues that they had. And what did he do? He kicked the tables when he was 12. Okay? So what do you think he would do now? Right? So because all of that is it has nothing to do with true attainment or true awakening, because true awakening is happening here from within. And so this is why this tools, you then, it's your extension, right? And then it's your, because it's your reality. And so you can also look at this, like, for me, it reminds me of the inner sun, the black sun. That's the inner sun on the other side. So okay, do you guys have any questions? Amy, you said the energy feels different for 2020. It is, in a way, everyone will experience it differently, you guys. Everyone will, it's going to be such an individual thing, you guys. And some of it is going to be still hard. It's not going to be easy. Even though I talk about dancing and all of that stuff, some of it's still not going to be easy, because there's going to be a lot of collective pain. Because as how to say, things will get worse before they get better emotionally. And like, it's painful to cry, and it's got to take that pain has to, like, think of it, how you can, you cry, and it peaks. Okay, that emotion has to peak. So think about it on the collective level before there's could be a release. Okay, because, and this is probably, if you feels a little heavy, right, then that means, it's that emotional pressure. As I said, it's like a pressure cooker on that collective level. And so it depends where you are, but at the same time, how does a pressure cooker, when you think about it, right, it's the water expanding, right, that it bursts, right? So think of it in those both ways, like a pressure, and this is, so then water bursting, and so this is kind of like a cry thing in our bodies that happens in that emotional um like a clearing. That's a clearing thing. And so this is going to happen on the collective level, but and so it's going to affect each and every one, us individually, because we're all connected both ways. So when it doesn't matter where you are, uh, in the fabric of total a human totality of human consciousness, where you are in that fabric. It doesn't matter. You're going to feel that collective pain, and you're going to go through this process. And this is why I say it's a process. So this energy will feel different. And then what happens is, Amy, the reason why I'm talking about this, developing your own gifts and your own tools to help you, so then it can become your second nature to do your shamanic work, because then you're doing this in silence for collective, because then you processing these emotions on the individual level, but through awareness, through the conscious awareness, then with the tools available to you, then you can release and transmute and let that, and you can do it in silence on that level, because you feel that. So you can trace your own feelings, you can trace energy signature to its core. And so this might have something to do, whatever you feel, right, it will direct you to where you need to go. So follow your sort of your own guidance, your emotional guidance on what it is that you are sort of working on on that level, in that spiritual level, on that invisible, in that invisible field. It's the year to harness creative energy. Absolutely. And this is why, hi, Yanni. Thanks for joining. Absolutely. And this is why, like you guys know, I just not long ago finished painting for my son for his birthday. Finished that. And now I'm going to start. And even though I'm not going to be traveling until probably spring, unless something comes up, I never, can say for sure in the time. It's all going to be in divine timing anyway. I trust that always. But even though I am I'm not going there until a few months. I'm not gonna be on the road. I mean, until a few months from now, I'm starting preparing, meaning I am magnetizing my thing, and that doing the creative things with our hands, right, like painting or something like that. Then this is what I talk about. Then it aligns your body consciousness with that higher state of being, or that eternal purpose that you're here for. That's the purpose for your existence here, is to have the eternal flame for the purpose of creating that transmutation frequency. So it's available for humanity then on the conscious level. I hope it makes sense. So basically you're creating that transformation within yourself, but because you're connected to the totality, or to the all of human consciousness, what's happening is that an energy, you bringing that energy in through your own eternal flame, and through your own soul unfoldment, your mission here, or your purpose here. And through that unfoldment, what you do is you're bringing that energy, or you're vibrating. So think of it as that, like you're harmonizing whatever instrument you play, right? You're harmonizing with the orchestra, right, and playing the same song. But your instrument is within this body, so you got to be physical. Your physical body has to be in alignment or in harmony, and then operate through duality too. And that's another, and this is what I talk about, the cross. So then this is what really the cross means. Okay, you guys, so how's that? Is that a subject, you guys? So it's kind of the basics. So I wanted to start this year kind of with talking about the basics of shamanic work and how to start developing your own quantum abilities or shamanic gifts, as I've called it in the past. Either one, whatever one you want to call it, that's that. um Right, Zur, you said, oh, all day 100% can be useful to progress quicker. Yes, because what happens is all these things become, like I said, secondhand. Let me give you an example, right? So I make coffee each morning and I have a dish that I warm up my water in. And I know exactly a certain amount of water that I need in there. And so this morning, that dish was busy and I used a whole different dish. I put some water, I warmed it up, and as I poured in my coffee, my French press, I was exactly right on the water, as though as I used my dish that I always use, almost to a few drops. And I didn't even think of that at all. I just used different dish, put some water in it. I didn't think consciously at all. It became a secondhand it became sort of on autopilot, but yet I trusted, because then I just laughed because it didn't even come to me to think of that, to do that when I was pouring water. It was only afterwards when I poured it into my coffee that I realized that I had exactly the same amount of water as I put into that. Another one where I know how much water I need to put in there. Do you see what I'm saying? And so this goes with everything. And so it becomes like the nature of you. And then this is how you then develop that quantum abilities, is through that gut feeling and all of that, and whatever it is that you need to do, because the gut feeling will be strong. Is the stronger the gut feeling, the more in harmony or in alignment you are with your physical vehicle, or the more in harmony you're playing with the in the universe you're expressing, because your frequency, your vibration. And so that's what we are. So this is what then this self-attainment makes sense, and none of the clownish BS. Okay, I keep hitting it. Makes any sense anymore to you, because you're developing your own gifts, and then you can, like, I used to do, you talk about um developing something. If you want to develop your mind, let's say, right? I used to do that. It was my one of my neighbors, this old lady that everybody was afraid of her. She's really old, like looking like she was 200 years old. But she used to do like this. She said, create your own pendulum out of something in nature, and then develop your mental ability with that pendulum. Go sit in there and you start, swinging it with your mind. And you sit there until you can swing it until it's flying around. Because I used to bug her, how do I develop my powers like you have? How do I develop them? And she would say, go do that under the tree and see how fast you can develop that. And that's how fast you're going to develop it. Go and try it. Go and do it. Make up your mind and do it. And then once you start seeing it with your own eyes, your own development, you start trusting yourself. And then that work translate into the later, when you truly get initiated, when the universe because that all is, look at it as training. Okay, training. And then the truly in the spiritual world, then there is an initiation that happens, what I call in a lot of, for you, that's that omen time, when you have a truly when you receive an omen from universe, something happens that of the spiritual nature, that changes your perspective on your spiritual world, on what's going on in the spiritual reality, what is spirit. And so then this is your, usually, originally, that's your like a universal initiation into your shamanic path, your shamanic uh, path, because you're experiencing something. You've experienced satori of some sort of um, uh, thing. Something happened. A lot of people have a either near death experience or out of body experience, or it could be during the ayahuasca ceremony, or um, smoking flowers. You can have the initiation. You just, when you experience that satori, this is your initiation into that shamanic work, that you have opened the portal. And so now you are that shaman. You're the shaman because you are seen in the spiritual world. And that's basically what that gives you the ability. And that's your, like a stamp. Okay, that omen. Okay, this is my path. This is my authentic path. This is for me, because that's yours. That's your experience. So what becomes your priority is not to learn or to know with the conscious mind all the ancient teachings. You're not going to be running around and trying to see who can you pay, how much you can pay, so they can share some occult teachings with you. You're not going to do that, because you're going to understand all of those is a snake oil salesman, because the occult is within. It's within. So you're going to start searching within, and you're going to start practicing within. And so no, Zuzi, please, por favor. Okay. So you're going to know in that once you go through that experience of who you are, and that's your anchor. That's why I always ask you guys. Okay, Zuzi is not happy. So I think I'm gonna have to end this. My zoo Caesar. And we have people upstairs running around and stuff like that, kids. So that's what's going on. But anyway, just to finish up, and so that's your ability. And so start from that. So when you want to initiate yourself, find that moment in your life that I call, that you've experienced. And so this is now, then it becomes not about looking for all what happened in Egypt, how it happened, who's who, and what is that. What you're going to start focusing on is experiencing your own powers, and then expanding them, and working with yourself, working with your powers, and expanding your gifts, and all of that stuff. And so this is what happens. Instead of searching for as much as possible in the external, what you start is, you start with something small, and you take one step towards your own authentic, unique path that you're on as a creator being in human form. And your body is the vehicle, or think of it as the heaven, and heavenly frequency you are the instrument of that orchestra. And so, and you're also the one who's playing that instrument, and you are that instrument. So, and that's how is you're it, but you're not, you're in it, but you're not it. So I don't know how, but it's a paradox. So you guys, but that paradox, and so and that paradox is all about then like I say, fake it until you make it crowd with all that knowledge. Oh, but Egyptians knew how to do that, and they were so good, and they built all that. Oh, but what can you do? Because shamanic work is all about your power. Your power. How powerful are you? And it's not about talking about how power can be powerful. It's about experiencing your power. So, my dear shamans around the world, go on out there in 2020 and experience your power. Experience it. Walk towards the experience. Fearless. So, to all of you fearless shamans, enjoy 2020. Create what you desire. May the eternal flame be with you all. Love you all. Bye, everybody. Bye. See you next time. And create physically too. Play, dance, enjoy life. It's your life, you guys. Bye, everybody. Love you all. Thank you so much for being here. I love you guys. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Zuzi.